Welcome to a 2v2 on Ettelbruck Station. I have not done a cast on this map in really long time. Man, I can't remember the last time I even saw this map. So this will be an interesting return. Just take a brief look at the tactical map again, I guess. It's got these 3 victory points laid out vertically like this. It's kind of got this weird banana shape. And all the resources are along the south, so that's kind of the unique features of this map, as well as, of course, the actual station itself. Pretty standard stuff. We're going to have Double Over Commando West on the right side, Butcher and Tigertreads playing as Breakthrough and one of Scavenge, Elite Armor, and Special Spec Ops. Looney playing as U.S. Forces. Mixed allies on the left, U.S. Forces and Soviets. Armor, Infantry, and Airborne with Lend-Lease, Armored Assault, and Mechanized Support. Finally learning some of those more niche Soviet portraits.
Ready! Men are secure the vehicle. Enemy fire! Take cover!
These 3 squads making their way across the north. Battle group headquarters setting up right here. Should be able to complete. Squad of Riflemen will secure vision, but there's like way too much Axis stuff right here for that to accomplish anything. They need to get out of there. There's only 1 door from which they can leave this building. That's gonna get wiped. They don't. Oh wait, no, there's not. There's 2 doors. I could have sworn there was only 1 door. Maybe this is one of those bugged buildings where you can only go in the south door, but you can leave the north door or something. See, that's how infrequently I cast this map. I don't even know how the buildings work. Look. Shame on me for not knowing all of the nuances of Ettelbruck Station. I actually included this map in the first Starcross Cup in the rotation. That was a 2v2 tournament because you didn't ever see it in tournaments, and I thought it was pretty similar to Samoski, so I thought maybe it would be fun, but it didn't seem like a very good map for competitive play in hindsight. It was kind of, I don't know. It just didn't generate very interesting games. Whether or not it's balanced, I don't know. I couldn't necessarily say for sure, but it was kind of had Langerskaya syndrome where even if it is balanced, it's not very interesting to watch, so not very good for my tournaments, I don't think. So I removed that from any future tournaments I might host, but I haven't done any 2v2 tournaments since then anyway. Assault engineers jumping in this house take a ton of damage. This blob of Folk Grenadiers is going to prove quite difficult to get rid of, but Siddolio is spamming penal battalions. 4 penals, that's probably the most penals I've ever seen one player make. Hasn't got any flamethrowers on those yet. Allies kind of struggling for map control right now. The map's pretty much split in half. We've got a Kuba wagon opening from Tigertreads, so getting a pretty decent amount of suppression done. And we've got double battle group over here on the right side from the OKW, so they have a pretty strong defensive position. They should be able to keep those penal battalions at bay. And there's Spec Ops chosen by Tigertreads. So Breakthrough and Spec Ops versus Lend-Lease and Armor Company. And it looks like the Axis will easily win this engagement, taking control of the train station and getting control of the center of VP because they have this forward defensive position right here where they can just reinforce and heal and just easily push everything away. There's the first flamethrower from Siddolio, but I don't think that's going to be enough to hold back this tide. Siddolio will throw a machine gun on the field, Dushka machine gun, in addition to his penal battalions. Lieutenant setting up in green cover up there. M20 on the field from Looney, takes one Panzerschreck, trying to push the squad around. It will be forced to retreat right there. The Kugelwagen's going to pull back to safety away from that M20. There's one Panzerschreck in the retreat path for the screen right there. Sturmpiles at this range actually do quite well against the riflemen in that building, force that retreat, but Siddolio's Penal Battalion blob is making its way back to the front line. 2 squads still in the base, another 2 with Dushka support making their way to the center of the map. Will push away those Sturms and Volksgrenadiers, and Panzer Fusiliers are going to start flooding the map now. Sturmoffizier has also been fielded in 2v2 with on a map like this with this many infantry squads. That Sturmoffizier will probably provide a lot of value.
Taking effective fire!
Going to be a lot of flamethrowers from the Allies this game with assault engineers and 4 penal battalions. It's a lot of fire that the Oberkommando West blobs are going to have to dance around. Tier 4 structure going up right here. The Axis have lost control of the train station, so it may be difficult to get that thing up. A lot of infantry flooding straight towards that thing. I don't know if that's going to complete, but they've stopped moving. They have vision of it, but I don't know if they've noticed. Because I don't know if Siddolio has noticed anyway, because he's not moving to do anything about this, and the assault engineers will die. Oh, ooh, barely made it out of there in time. The flamethrower burst, but the squad survives. And it looks like Siddolio will make no attempt to destroy this structure, even though he had a really easy opportunity. That was so dead. I can't believe he didn't go in on that. That was a huge blob of infantry he could have assaulted with. And then he made a full retreat! Where's he going? Okay, well I guess if he just wants to give control of the center VP to the Axis, then he has accomplished that. I have no idea what he's doing right now. Alright, well that was weird. Looney will also be forced to retreat since his teammate abandoned him. M20 needs some repairs here in the back. These 3 squads making their way back to the front lines. Probably have to wait for those penals to arrive and assist. Ambulance is in production as well. And this blob of stuff is going to advance through the center. The Dushka is set up inside this building and probably only lasts for a little while. Does manage to pin that squad way in the back, but other than that, it's not going to last long against this push. Grenade in the building brings it low, and Sturmpiles at close range should be able to finish it off easily. Looney's remaining forces here will not be able to succeed against the combined forces of both players by himself. Kugelwagen pinning down infantry in the south. That squad brought low has to retreat. M20 pulling back to safety. Lieutenant also retreating. Looney can't do anything. And Siddolio is unlikely to accomplish anything by himself either. They need to engage together. If they go in one at a time, they're not likely to accomplish very much. So, something to think about. They've lost total control of all south resources except for this fuel point, which is already being contested. And the 3rd victory point is probably going to fall into OKW hands soon as well. If they actually throw a squad in the capture circle. There are some reinforced barricades though. That's actually their own reinforced barricades, so they'll have to circle back around the north to get that under his control. Looks like there's a lot of wire in this area though. Wire right there, so you'd have the only route into that victory point is to go through this way, all the way around into the capture circle, so kind of a convoluted path into that victory point right now. Somebody's probably going to have to blow up some wire. Kugelwagen got a little overexposed right there. Siddolio will take it down. Volksgrenadiers making a full retreat from this engagement. This blob making its way back towards the center to assist. The Kugelwagen being destroyed, some minor setback though. 10 minutes into the game is a pretty reasonable lifetime for a Kubel, and from this point forward they're probably going to be operating utilizing other suppression things if they even find that that's necessary. They may just DPS blobs down G43s from this point forward. And infiltration grenades are also available for Tigertreads. And oversold on it, so has some pretty decent firepower of their own. Sturmpiles might win this if there are no flame crits. Penal flamethrower cannot burst though, so that's something to keep in mind. You don't really get any particular advantage fighting against flamethrowers with automatic weapons. That helps though. That flamethrower can now never burst. Those Volksgrenadiers just recovered it. That is not good. A little bit of a late retreat through the blob. Lucky Panzerschreck snipe. And now that Volksgrenadier squad has a flamethrower of its own. But the engagement looks like it is going to go to the Americans. That M20 supporting in this sheer quantity of infantry is just too much for Butcher to handle. He will be forced to retreat here. Tier 4 structure firing on a penal battalion there in the back, which overextends itself. That is definitely not the first time that the Allies succeed in this, so not sure what he was thinking walking through that area.
He's losing his goddamn marbles.
Allies have actually taken control of all territory here in the north. These strategic points would be pretty easy to get back under Axis control, and one Stern Pilot Squad's going to move to do that now. STGs are upgraded on this Obersoldaten squad in green cover. They should easily be able to win an engagement against lone squads that expose themselves. Probably win an engagement against anything that jumps in that building at this range. Switching targets to the flamethrower right there. And they'll lose that engagement though. They do nab that one though. Need to retreat. 2 model losses inflicted, none received. Pretty good engagement. Needs to start vetting those up. And they'll be a pretty effective weapon against enemy flamethrowers. This blob is making its way back towards the center. As far as Allied attack, I don't see anything yet other than the Major. Major's on the field. No tanks yet though. He should be able to afford something very soon. On this map, I think he can make great progress with pretty much anything. Siddolio has gone Katyusha, which on this map makes a lot of sense. There's a squad wipe already. Wow, almost 2 squad wipes. Great opening barrage for Siddolio right there. 9 kills. 9 kills in his very first barrage. If he can make every barrage as good as that one, this game's in the bag. As far as Looney, like I said, any tier 4 unit can make sense on this map. Nice Shrek pickup right there. If he goes Sherman, he'd probably want to engage mostly in the north area and pick up squads that are trying to capture territory solo. Should gun them down on retreat. And if he goes Scott, he'd probably want to engage here in the center. And if he goes Jackson, again, probably want to engage in the center and try and take out priority targets from range. So anything would make sense. With his teammate having gone Katyusha, I'd probably go Sherman. Nice to have a medium tank on the field, but I could see Scott as well, because you can never have too much indirect fire on Ettelbruck Station, really. Fuel cache going up here in the back to try and offset the fact that they haven't had that great map control throughout this game. Briquette Warper's going to retreat right there.
M10 tank destroyer ready for deployment.
Penal Battalion with the Panzer Shrek and Flamethrower grabbing this territory back as well in the north. Victory points mostly haven't moved. 400 left in the bank for both players. Squad wipe right there, wasn't being monitored. 2 tier 4 structures in the south. I don't think that's going to complete. That was a little overzealous. I don't think I would have attempted that. 1 squad of Volksgrenadiers. Wow, really? He just retreated away from that? That was an easy pickup. I don't know what he was thinking right there. Obersoldaten moving up with their STGs probably would have won the engagement. I don't know. I feel like that was pretty easy to take out. Katyusha bombarding somewhere. Right here on the Briquette Warper. I don't think that was a very good barrage. Gets 1 kill. Tier 4 structure completes. Via some miracle. Demo charge in the green cover. Doesn't look like he's buying it. Oh yes he is. No! There goes that SDG squad. Nice placement on the demo charge right there. He's gonna have to think carefully with his overs from this point forward. I would expect him to throw a minesweeper on these terms. He definitely should. Stands right on the edge of the capture circle just to be safe. He doesn't know if there might be any more. Gonna get that munitions back under his control. Here in the north, Siddolio continues to try and contend for this VP. These reinforced wire barricades have not been destroyed yet.
Orders complete. Send your infantry!
M10 on the field from Looney, who has gone armor company, having thrown a lot of munitions into that demo charge and flamethrowers. Actually, I don't know. I'm not sure where most of his munitions has gone. Maybe he's been throwing down M6 anti-tank mines. Either way, he doesn't have that much in the bank right now, so the RNG bomb's not going to be a very realistic possibility anytime soon. About to have the victory points for those though, and that would be a very nice thing to have on a map where your opponent is clustering units as hard as these Overcommando West players are. But again, Katyusha is doing a great job softening up those formations. It's up to Vet 1 now at 12 kills. Its first barrage was fantastic. Since then, Siddolio hasn't managed to find a particularly tight clump, and maybe UOKW have been doing a pretty good job of splitting their forces up to avoid that. I don't see any too scary blobs anywhere. Easy 8 on the field. Or not easy 8, M4C on the field from Siddolio, who has gone 11 of these. Takes a little bit of damage, is going to pull that back to safety. Dushka also needs to pull back away from SDG. Fresh squad of SDG overs right there, we're trying to replace. Oh no, this is the fresh squad of SDGs. Both of them, honestly, is pretty fresh. Only 3 kills on this one so far. But on this map, they definitely make a lot of sense. Infantry support gun on the field too. This should be a pretty good suppression source on this map. Be a nice thing to have. It doesn't get that much kills or infantry bleed, but sometimes it'll just magically win you an engagement with that suppression, so it's definitely a nice thing to have in the back if you feel that you can afford it. Barton wants to 2v2 with me. Should I 2v2 with Barton? Bulldozer on the field. American infantry trying to get that munitions under control. The Allies have actually cut off the axis going all the way across the north to this strategic point. OKW really need to try and defend their cutoffs a little better. There's an M6 anti-tank mine. There's one. Bulldozer and M10 moving to try and take out the tier 4 structure right there. Their tanks will absorb fire, allowing the lieutenant to get the victory point. Infantry screen is on its way. 2 Rakettenwerfers, 2 SDGs, and Panzerschreck should be able to push that attack back. Butcher making his way across the north, trying to get these sectors back under control. Minesweeper may miss that. Yeah, he's not going to see that, unfortunately. Going for the strategic point, victory point. At the same time, Siddolio's got his Sherman right there, needs some repairs, and his penal blob is making its way back across the north, trying to get that territory back under his control. And the victory point is still, Overcommando West hands. Looney was forced back a little bit. Tier 4 structure needs minor repairs, but nothing too serious. These 2 STGs should do pretty well against most infantry forces as long as they position themselves nicely in cover. Infantry support guns placed a little awkwardly. On Ettelbruck Station, it can be difficult to get a direct line of fire, which is why it's nice to place it over here where it can fire directly into the center. In its current position, it's a little vulnerable. Big blob moving up from the south flank on these squads. Katyusha firing. Softens up this blob a little bit. Will force a retreat. Pretty good barrage right there. And Looney's got a couple squads positioned across the, what is that? Canal? Across the sewer drainage pipe area thing. Might be able to win against this pretty small force that's left. Continuing to engage with the center VP, assault engineers do get it under their control. And a Command Panther's on the field there from Tigertreads, who did go tier 4, but decided that a Command Panther was better than a standard Panther, which it pretty much is. I mean, it's only a little bit more fuel. You probably could have considered tier 3 though, instead of tier 4. It is nice to have the flak gun though. I've seen a lot of players go tier 4 just for the overs and the structure itself. And STG overs are of course a really powerful thing to have, especially on a map like this, so you can definitely see that. Command Panther at range is doing pretty good damage to the bulldozer right there. Switches targets to the M10. It will be forced back though. M10 has really nice range. And with that health buff, it can slug it out for a little while, try and get some lucky hits. Command Panther, wow, that Katyusha. If only he had targeted it like right here, that could have been huge. Focused on winning the engagement rather than maximum bleed, plus he would have been firing blind back here. The Allies don't really have tools with which to acquire vision. They don't have pathfinders. They don't have any form of recon other than major recon. They don't have any scout vehicles left, I don't think. Except for they have a Vet 2 M20 actually. Might try and find a way to scout with that. Sherman's going in for a crush, prompts a couple retreats right here. Rakettenwerfer is setting up in the road. That was a squad wipe. I think that was a Sturmoffizier. Kind of missed it though. They do trade. Command Panther plus Rakettenwerfer setting up. Take out one of those M4C Shermans. It's not the end of the world though for the Allies to lose that one tank. I'm sure there'll be many more where that came from. Only one fuel cache currently on the field. The Allies aren't exactly floating a ton of manpower either, though. They might consider one or two more. Katyusha's doing pretty good manpower bleed to offset the cost of those caches if they should choose to produce more of those. Butcher has 260 fuel in the bank, 900 manpower, so it's looking like Jagdtiger for him. He might struggle to get a line with that. Wait, does it look like Jagdtiger? I don't know, it might be King Tiger. He's built all 3 structures. King Tiger probably make more sense on this map. I could see either one. He's gonna be purchasing that very soon, whichever one it is. I guess Jagdtiger. See, he can afford a King Tiger right now. And hasn't queued it up. So yeah, I'm thinking Jagdtiger. Jagdtiger will be nice to have to engage at range. He's probably gonna want to throw it in this area. The Allies don't have any really hard long-range anti-tank like a B4. No Jacksons. Well, Jackson wouldn't be very good against the Jagdtiger either anyway. So yeah, that'll perform pretty nicely, I think. As long as he positions it well. I don't know. Ooh. There goes that Volksgrenadier squad. Good morning, Bryant. Two Sturms moving back here to the Command Panther to repair that, and there it is, Jagdtiger. 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 On the field. So yeah, he's upgrading it with the faster turn rate already. I think that's what that is, right? To move and rotate more responsibly. Maybe that's acceleration also? I'm not sure. It's pretty expensive, honestly. 60 munitions just... slightly better mobility. I don't know, maybe also better speed. I can't tell. I'm not 100% sure what that does. And that Command Panther on the field is gonna make that Jagdtiger even more dangerous. So. Throws armor-piercing shells on the M10 plus speed boost to try and kite. Shot does not connect, unfortunately. 2 bulldozers plus M4C plus machine guns in the area makes it a very dangerous place for those overs to be for any extended length of time, and they will retreat pretty much immediately. Here comes the Jagd. If it sets up all along the South Railway, it should potentially be able to get some good hits off. It's going to try and maintain a close distance on that Command Panther, I think, to try and benefit from the aura of that. Command Panther, currently working from the south flank, will not provide any bonuses to that Jagdtiger, though. Gets a huge hit on that Sherman right there, and the Command Panther on the flank will destroy it. Pretty nice coordinated fire from those two Axis tanks to take that out. Slightly out of position, and now that it's revealed itself, the Allies are going to have to play around this threat to the best of their ability. As you can see, the Katyusha is inflicting huge manpower bleed. The fact that he's floated so much for this vehicle has left him with a pretty small infantry force. Now he's going to start spending the rest of his float on more Panzer Fusiliers. Tigertreads is probably going to throw, I don't know what he should do. He needs more infantry though, he doesn't have very much. Maybe just more Volksgrenadiers, maybe. I don't know, Volksgrenadiers probably make sense. Because they would benefit from infiltration grenades, and he just needs more cheap infantry for capping power, protect his tank. Big advance by riflemen here, throwing a couple AT grenades on that Panther, but not going to do anything too serious. We'll get clear of the smoke, pull back to safety. With that top-mount machine gun, it's already up to Vet 2. It's doing pretty good. Taking out 1 Sherman and 3 infantry models. As that continues to vet up, it will provide better and better bonuses to this Jagdtiger. Once the Jagdtiger's vet 1, it also will have access to the supporting fire ability. Give it a little bit of anti-infantry of its own if he can afford the munitions expenditure. And the back and forth for the north pretty much just continues. Fusiliers and Volksgrenadiers trying to get that area under control. Center VP will also fall back into Axis hands, and it's still pretty much dead even. Nobody's really been able to set up a triple cap for very long. 301 to 376, 75-point lead's not that big of a deal. The Jagdtiger may be able to turn that situation around. Trying to snipe infantry models for now, until he can get vision on a juicier target. And the Jagdtiger used to be crazy good on this map when it could shoot through buildings. Now it costs 90 munitions just to be able to do that for 1 or 2 shots, so that's kind of not something you can sustain very easily. In fact, I don't think I've seen anybody use this ability at all. So that could be fun to see. So many squad wipes, jeez, 2 squads wiped. Just like that. Bulldozers are exposed to Jagdtiger fire, but he doesn't have any way to give himself vision, so you're just going to pull back into the fog of war, probably be fine. Still no Vet 1. And I don't think he should keep making overs like this. I don't think that's very cost effective, especially with that Katyusha bleeding him. That's very hard to maintain. All Volksgrenadiers are now dead for Butcher, who is just hemorrhaging manpower. Almost trades the squad wipe right there, but that penal battalion will get away just barely.
Regimental headquarters advise. Panzer Fusiliers are ready for action. Mission complete. Orders complete. Do as instructed.
Bober's trying to get control of the center VP. Siddolio's penal blob is alive and well, still has all 4 squads. Making its way across the north, trying to maintain control of this area and force retreats. And there's a sniper on the field now. I think that's relatively new, it's up to 3 kills. Try and get control of the center, utilizing camouflage. Jagdtiger gets a big hit on that bulldozer, and it will be destroyed by a Rakettenwerfer there in the back. 2 M10s trying to slug it out with the Command Panther. Don't even scratch it. And the Rakettenwerfer and Stern piles there will have to retreat from riflemen. Fusilier is also going to retreat. A little on the early side, but alright. Jagdtiger circling south to try and prevent any armor from pushing too aggressively. Looney is going to try. M4C Sherman on the flank right here. Pulls behind the Jagdtiger, trying to do a little damage to it, but it doesn't even take a scratch, and that Rakettenwerfer will force it back. It's Jagdtiger probably finish it off, but it does not rotate to fire on it. Instead, it engages in this direction, gets a big hit on that bulldozer. Now it's rotating right, but the M4C Sherman's long gone, I think. Maybe, I don't know, I could be wrong. A little bit of hair of it is exposed. think that Yag Tiger has a clear shot though. It should be fine. And he doesn't have the 90 munitions he'd need to activate the armor, the wall piercing shot, so. This thing's having trouble ever getting a shot off. Every time it rotates to fire in one direction. Was that a concentrated barrage? Siddolio just used a concentrated barrage on the Yag Tiger. Wow. Devastating damage. 60 munitions, great value. M4C desperately needs some repairs. Ooh, that is a really tight clump. Man, he should have saved the concentrated barrage for that. That was just asking for it right there.
Rocket launch vehicle ready for action.
Infiltration grenades in the building. Was there even anything in there? Oh. Rear echelon troops, okay. These 3 squads of SCG ogres doing what they can. There's now a Stuka on the field, so he has gone tier 3, back down to tier 3 into a Stuka. That should definitely help. Kind of late to get a Stuka. Honestly, on this map, I feel like that should pretty much always be your first purchase because it's so nice to have against allied flamer blobs. Finally, they'll have some indirect fire of their own with which to bleed allied infantry the way the Katyusha has been bleeding them. There's now a second M4C on the field again. I think Siddolio's lost 2 by my count. Ooh. And there goes that M20. Stuka firing on the M20. Apparently, he really wanted to kill that M20. I personally think he should have saved that Stuka barrage for some infantry, but okay. Bulldozer brings that Fusilier squad low, and they're going to be forced to retreat, but it does draw out that Bulldozer for the Jagdtiger to fire on it. And he's now Vet 1, so we'll have access to the supporting barrage, should he decide that's worthwhile. And Siddolio has already killed the Stuka. What was that positioning? He needed to put that in a much, much better defended location. He left that wide out in the open, and Siddolio just drove up and killed it like it was nothing. Oh my goodness. So much for that. Although honestly, he's got the fuel for another one. The manpower is the bigger concern than the fuel is. Just can't keep their manpower up. And 390 manpower for a Stuka is no joke. You can't just let that die with one barrage that kills nothing. Big push for the south. Look at all this stuff. Although that bulldozer's actually dead. That bulldozer makes this push look scarier than it really is. Tiger continues to scare allied tanks away, but otherwise not accomplish much. This push coming from the north from the M4C Shermans is putting a lot of pressure on this area, and the Axis are having trouble screening this away. That Yag Tiger just can't get a line on anything. He actually does have the 90 munitions for super blast shells, but he doesn't seem to find it worthwhile to use that. And he's probably right. I don't know, if he could get vision on that one, he would kill it. 90 munitions to kill that tank would probably be pretty worth it. Just thinking about it. He's just going to try and round the corner manually. It's going to take some time, though. It's not very mobile. I don't know. I think that would have been pretty worth it. He would have definitely killed that one. Probably wouldn't have killed anything else. I guess he didn't think 90 munitions was worth it to kill one tank. It's a trade-off. Well, that push by the Allies definitely forced that Yag Tiger to not participate much, having to rotate around, keep dodging and dancing, and it has allowed the Allies to take control of pretty much the whole map, and because they've inflicted such huge manpower bleed, and Tigertreads just hasn't spent his manpower on anything, It's actually at 73 pop cap, considering got 1,000 manpower. I really think he should throw out like 3 squads of Volksgrenadiers or something. Butcher, on the other hand, is clearly desperately struggling just to survive this game. Throwing out some more Raketenwerfers for anti-tank on the flanks. And continuing to just throw Panzer Fusiliers onto the field. 6-man squads, pretty durable against those Katyusha barrages to try and get territory back under control. Riflemen forced away from the center right here. Obersoldaten should be able to get that back. The Allies are thinking about their next push. Siddolio is starting to mass a pretty impressive army. 3 M4Cs now, plus his Flamer Blob, plus his Sniper, plus his machine gun, and his 35 kill Katyusha. And the Allied swarm of armor is getting pretty impressive too. Ooh, nice! Nice spread right there. That's a full squad of Obers down. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say that that's not very manpower efficient. You can't really afford for a full squad to just evaporate like that. That's not sustainable. At least I don't think it is. Maybe I'm wrong. He's got 1,000 manpower in the bank. Maybe you can just operate on a 3 Obersoldaten squad, or a 3 Ober infantry force all game long. Maybe. I've certainly never been successful in attempting that, but he might succeed where I've failed. M4C Sherman pulls away from that Raketenwerfer right there. Oh, main gun destroyed from a Jagdtiger shot from across the center. Almost takes out that Sherman, but not quite. Still no wall-piercing shot activated. He's up to 200 munitions now. I'm surprised he doesn't at least consider it. I mean, he's got munitions transfer on this whole time. It seems like that would be why. Unless he just wants G43s on his Fusiliers or more mines or something. I don't know. I don't think he intends to spend any more fuel this game on anything, really. Here comes Siddolio's Flamer Blob, but he will get suppressed by the Tier 4 structure. I think he wants to try and satchel with some of these trucks down. There's 1, there's 2. I don't think that's enough to destroy this, though. He's going to need to finish it off with a... Oh, nope, I was wrong. Just barely enough. Satchels take out the battle group headquarters, and that's finally down. That should be pretty easy to replace, though. Once the timer runs out, that's the main concern, is the cooldown. Jagdtiger's up to vet 2. Victory points are still dead even. Oh no! Command Panther's a little exposed. It's extremely exposed. I think that's gonna go down. The Jagdtiger's nowhere nearby to support in this push. That is just a tragedy. Wow. M10's diving in there. Managed to take that thing down. Pre-patch, by the way. That M10 could have died. That health buff makes all the difference in the world, as you can see. Oh, jeez. That Jagdtiger also getting flanked. Unfortunately, it phases right through the Sherman right there. Gets a little bit lucky. Panzer Fusiliers falling low in the meantime. They really need to retreat. The assault artillery dropped over here on the left side is way too late to save that Command Panther. And the Jagdtiger does take down an M4C Sherman right there, thanks to its ability to phase through that Sherman magically, like a spooky ghost.
Stay close, and you might live through this.
And it will pull back for some repairs here by the Mechanized Regiment in HQ, and some sturms as well. Infantry support guns up to vet 3, 19 kills. It's something. I don't think the vet bonuses on the infantry support gun are actually very good overall, unfortunately. So that doesn't actually make that big of a difference, but it does at least indicate that it's been contributing a little bit. It's mostly an armor game at this point, though. Most infantry just gets taken out by indirect fire. Allied infantry seems to be doing pretty okay. The biggest threats to them are the SCG Ogres and that Flak HQ and everything like that. The 2-ship firing away at the battle group headquarters. At maximum range, it's going to come down to pure RNG. Doesn't look like it's going to hit anything, though. Nope. No lucky rockets. All those Ogres will be fine. Tiger's available for this push. That's a lot of concentrated fire on the Tier 4 structure, though. We're looking at 3 bulldozers, 2 M10s. One of them does go down, and they're not going to even be able to trade for anything right here, I don't think. There's a fresh Command Panther on the field from Tigertreads. That'll exhaust his fuel reserves. Tiger doesn't seem to have a line on anything. Still hasn't activated a single one of the special abilities. It's kind of a shame. It's actually a kind of semi-versatile unit. It's a shame he's not using it to its full potential. I'd really like to see the supporting barrage on an infantry glob. Really like to see the wall-piercing rounds, maybe. I don't know. Could be fun. It is a pretty munitions-hungry unit if you spam its ability, so. And a lot of his munitions is going into more G43s and stuff, so. And minesweepers. Fresh Stuka is in production. Hopefully he'll keep this one alive a lot better than his last one. Oh, that crush! I don't know if that's gonna survive. Tiger will not be able to chase that down. Looks like it'll be fine. Tusha bombarding here in the south. It's now 42 minutes in, and the victory points have barely moved. Nobody can set up a triple cap. Katusha pounding the south inflicts huge damage again. Just keeps making Fusiliers. How many kills does that thing have anyway? 47. 47, not bad at all. His attempt to take the center isn't exactly going very well. That's a pretty juicy blob. He could at least think about supporting fire. He might hit something. There it goes. Here it comes. Fire! Aw, that was kind of off. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. That is kind of an RNG ability, I guess. I was hoping for that to kill something. 40 munitions down the drain. Now I feel silly for suggesting it. Joke's on me. Obersoldaten trying to take control of this munitions point. We'll kill that 50 cal. Trying to get this point under control under bulldozer fire, but they're trying to pull back a little bit. They don't want to be exposed to Tiger fire, and it is on its way down here. Riflemen are successful in getting this point under their control, and all of the north is following to Siddolio's penal battalions as well.
Squad numbers fire and adjust! Fire and adjust!
Katusha blows up this train, apparently. Alright. Pretty big armor force from Looney right now. He's on 3 bulldozers, 2 M10s, one of which is Vet 3, by the way. Which, I don't know the Vet bonuses for the M10, but I know it does have armor-piercing rounds and the super duper speed ability, so... it's pretty good. Smoke will prevent that Tiger from having vision on those tanks as they try and pull back to safety. Could have at least tried attack ground through that smoke. Doesn't have vision though. Might actually get vision through the smoke from the infantry support gun shots. The Tiger's trying to pull back to safety right now anyway. And the riflemen will be successful in decapturing that point and start the clock ticking against the Axis a little quicker. They've now only got 150 points. They need to be a little bit more enthusiastic about getting victory point control and maintaining it. They're starting to really fall behind. 100 victory point lead now for the Allies. Siddolio is actually floating. He's floating a lot. It's too pop cap to make anything else, so he's actually been engaging pretty cost effectively for the last several minutes. Might be time for him to make an aggressive push with his ally. Thanks to their indirect fire, the Allies are pulling ahead economically, and if they made a really aggressive push with all I don't know how many tanks they have. 5 for Looney, 2 for Siddolio, so all 7 of their tanks. They could probably take out at least some priority targets and then start fielding some fresh units to keep up the pressure afterwards. And start the victory point clock ticking a little bit more aggressively, but they'd have to execute quite nicely. Stuka takes out a couple units up here. The Reckenwerfer is also cleared. Big push by that Command Panther. M10's pulling back to safety. The bulldozers have all been fully repaired here in the back, trying to put some pressure on those overs. The victory point in the south will fall back into Axis control, and the center one's being taken back into Allied control. M4C looking for opportunities here in the north, chasing away a Sturmpio squad. The Jagdtiger's now up to Vet 3, but it can't seem to make up its mind about where it wants to engage. I think it's being a little naive if it thinks it's going to make anything happen against that M4C Sherman. It is going to mobilize itself back towards the center. Take shots at infantry, I guess, for now. It's unlikely to accomplish much. Katyusha firing in this general area will do some damage to Sturms and Panzer Fusiliers. Almost wiping that squad. And the M4C Sherman was not successful in wiping that Sturm squad. Probably got a little bit of manpower bleed. It's going to pull back to safety. The Command Panther is on its way to head it off, but it's long gone. There's no chasing that thing down at this point. I don't know. The burden of making a big decisive push is not really on the Allies. I think they probably could do it, but they don't really have to. They've got a lot of stuff. But they've also got 2 victory points, and the clock is ticking against the Axis, who are just kind of fumbling a little bit with this Jagdtiger and Command Panther. They never seem to make anything really big happen. Coordinated fire from the Command Panther onto that. Ooh, wow! Easy 8. Does the Jagdtiger really 2-shot? I think it 2-shots an M4C Sherman with coordinated fire on it. Man, that is huge damage. That is ridiculous. Wow, nice push by those M10s. They found a vulnerable opening right there, and that 2-4 structure goes down so quick. Penal Battalion Blob going in on Oberst is going to wipe those too. Jeez. So many big targets going down. Jagdtiger is Vet 4. They can't really hurt these Penals, and they'll slowly chip it down with their 1 Panzerschreck. Stuka falling in the area is off target, I think. He was hoping they were going to retreat through that, but he didn't. He's just going to keep pushing up and trying to chip away at that thing's health with his 1 Shrek. Switches targets to the Command Panther, which is trying to go in for a crush. Siddolio will make a full retreat. He wasn't really going to take that much damage right there, honestly, but he doesn't want to bleed any more manpower if he doesn't have to. Not that manpower is a concern for him. He can engage very aggressively with these reserves. His pop cap's a little low, having lost 1 tank, so he throws a new one onto the field. I think he can get another one after that. Yeah, he can. Bring himself back up to 3, try and make a big play. Jagdtiger has been sent back south. The Axis are triple capped and continue to fail to manage territory. Trying to get the south under control. Bulldozer might go down. Look at that rate of fire. That thing fires so quick at Vet 4. Jeez. Fortunately, the bulldozers get cleared just in time. Katyusha is delaying the capture of this point, forcing a retreat from that squad. This one's already moved on. Should really backpedal and get this point under control. Only 50 now remain. No attempt for the center, no attempt for the north. What are they doing? Get some victory points. Who cares about munitions? What are munitions going to do for you if you lose? You can't use them next game. Oh, man. Panther is dead. M4C Sherman circle strafes it to death. Axis are just falling apart. So scatterbrained. What is this Jagdtiger doing? Oh my god, those M10s are gonna have a field day with this thing. I can't believe this maneuvering. I feel like that's the maneuver of an Axis player that has given up on this game. Jagdtiger's about to die, and with only 29 points remaining, that's GG. That is GG. Infantry support gun kills that Sherman though. That was cute. Wow. Oh, I thought he used hollow charge rounds, but no. The vehicle has every disadvantage. Well, if I'm being honest, Butcher, I feel like you could have used it a little better. I don't know. I don't know why he built that instead of a King Tiger. He clearly wanted to utilize it as if it was one. The King Tiger's cheaper, just get a KT. And then you can, Oh, come on, don't be like that, Butcher. Well, that's GG. Allies take full victory point control, annihilate all priority targets, continue to poke and bleed from various angles when they have the advantage. The Yag Tiger could never get into a good position to take out enough stuff. And the economic game just goes to the Allies. It's really very much a game of manpower economics here, and I think that poor usage of the Stuka, by the way. The Stuka barely did anything. 8 kills on this thing. He got it super late. His first one died before it even got a single kill. The Katyusha, on the other hand, up to 64 kills. Look at that. Look at the difference that one unit made this game. That's huge. Penals, 21, 14, 14, 19. That's... And he kept them alive. They're all Vet 3. By comparison, almost no Axis infantry is still alive at all. Infantry support gun did pretty good, in all fairness. It had some indirect fire. It was okay, but it just wasn't enough. They just fell way too behind, couldn't engage cost effectively. Allies took out a lot of priority targets and they lost a few tanks of their own, but they couldn't. They just couldn't, they just got outproduced, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Allies outproduced. I think that's the 3rd Command Panther I've seen die this game. So yeah.
Supply half-track destroyed.
GG.
Dispatching alternate command.